I think I got one more thing for us.
All
Uh,
right.
you remember last episode how I said the Raptors are making me look bad?
Mm-hmm.
They the sixth seed now, so they trying to tighten up a little bit. Did you see that the thing on Bleacher Report where they're talking about trading Kyle Lowry?
Oh, well, I
Like,
didn't see it on Bleacher Report, but I saw something about it. Like, yeah, they're thinking about trading Lowry.
imagine being the human in the room for the Raptors, who's like, we got to get rid of the our best player in franchise history.
Like, and like what gets me about it though, right, is just it's not even like because like when like Memphis, ended up trading Gasol and like Conley, after like really long after like grit and grind era and its true form had kind of like gone away anyway. Um, but like I feel like for the like even with that, like I feel like it's it was one of them things where it's just kind of like it's probably the best. Like in the case of like Memphis, it's kind of like it's point. It's like it's kind of best. Like it's arguably best for all parties involved from a like career-ish standpoint, right? Because like realistically, Conley and Gasol probably weren't about to win in Memphis. Not because like they weren't good enough players, but because like there wasn't the stuff around them and there wasn't the
Yeah.
time to build it for real. Um, so like you trade Gasol to Toronto and he gets his chip and like has little videos where he's clearly not sober after and but let him enjoy himself. But like he got that like you trade him to Toronto and like he gets his ring. You trade Conley to the Jazz because like he's got a better chance of getting a ring there, right? And second year at the Jazz, he's playing really good basketball. And put themselves in a good position. How they'll do in the playoffs is a whole separate thing. But right now, everything is good. Like you're gonna have to figure out an answer for the Lakers, but they can deal. You cross that bridge when you get there. Um, but like with Lowry, it's just like it's just like he has a ring with y'all, and like he's arguably your best player, like your greatest. I'm necessarily gonna say your best, but your greatest player in franchise history, right? Um, and there, like if he wants to be there, you can let him. Like he's done everything. Like he's probably like he's not gonna get an MVP, and that's okay, right? He's got what a couple of All Star appearances, probably a couple All NBAs. Like he's good. He can retire. Like if he just wants to retire with y'all, you should let him, right?
Even if that means you
Um,
got to pay this man for 7 more years, he is not DeAndre Jordan. Treat
and
him
you like
nicely.
yeah, like if you just like long as in fairness, like I wouldn't do it if like you have to do like you pay him like they did Kobe at the end of his career, like because that just kind of nah. But otherwise, like you read a reasonable contract here as long as you want to be here. Shoot, semi-reasonable contract here as long as you want to be here. We just need to be able to like start stuff up while you're still here.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it also just kind of illustrates how kind of cold I guess the business of the NBA is. Whether or not it's always been that way, we can kind of like I feel like in general, until I don't know the last two 6 or 7 years or so, like you don't question like there'd be no talk about trading Lowry, like a dude who's like Lowry, right? From like great like one of the greatest players in franchise history, got a ring, got his individual award. Like nah, if he wants to be there, you let him retire pretty much. But like you, you have it's like I guess the whole loyalty thing is a two-way street. It's like players are less loyal because the organizations weren't right. It's just like you saw how like everyone saw how they did Isaiah Thomas, how Danny Ainge did Isaiah Thomas, and it's just like and like Hardy's like Ainge is a he's a good GM, but he's a terrible person. In fairness, like he's been that way for a long time now. You don't get your jaw broken by like Abdul-Jabbar and like be cool. Like, um, but like it's I don't know. I feel like it's something like it might happen. Like the thing is that of course like there are gonna be people who are gonna offer like because like he's a good player, he can contribute. So if they're like, hey, they decide we're gonna trade him, like there's a return to be had. But it's just I don't like I don't think they should. If for no other reason, like stick by someone who's like just yeah. If that makes it's just like just a little loyalty can like people appreciate that. People remember. People tell people.
Exactly. I got a question for you. Who do you think was more likely to say, maybe we need to go ahead and let Kyrie go? In a younger person who's in the front office or an older person that's in the front office? And I mean that almost not by age, but as like regimes.
Right.
Like you think it's an older dude or is a younger dude?
Um, that's that's a good question. Because like some of it would probably depend on the dude in question, right? Because like my first instinct was to say like younger, right? Because like there are a lot of people who are very much into like analytics and like people, close to our age, the whole like remember the whole process thing, which was god awful to sit through. But like it occurs to me like if we were really like doing the podcast, it'd give us plenty to talk about. But I mean it
That
was a dumpster
2012
fire, but it was hmm,
that 2012 season.
like yeah, it was just like it was intentionally terrible basketball, right? Um, and like I think actually to think about it, some of the whole analytics thing, especially like if you go more extreme with some of that stuff, gets you so like gets you some of these like results in like almost quasi experimental type situations playing out in real life, like the process and whatever the hell's going on in Brooklyn. Like because like I feel like if you have somebody who's more in fairness, like I think with Brooklyn, part of that was just like they had no idea what was going on with Kyrie and got scared. Um, and so worked away their future. But we don't need the. It's like the Nets get 2 decent years and then garbage for the next decade. It is what it is. It wouldn't be the first time,
Exactly.
but uh, but like I feel like if you come in with that like super analytics thought process and like everything is just numbers and there's no and like like whatever you call like the strategy if you're not taking three like every shot should be a three or a layup or whatever like you're gonna like that kind of approach will I think result in more cutthroaty colder decisions like it is like contemplating trading Lowry. It's not the only thing that could get you there, but I think it would probably get you there. But also when I when I say it also depends like with an older person though, it might just be um like again depending on people like you could just get an older GM or front office person who's just I don't know just kind of a meaner, more cutthroat human being, and they're like and they look and like they're like realistically we don't have a shot at the title as though like every team needs a shot at the title every year or like they should blow it up, which is something I've seen and is a really weird take to me because like one if it's title or bust every single year that would lead to some god awful basketball. um but like but if you take that like some sort of like we're clearly not about to compete for a title, probably not here in like a little while. You know what we should do? We should trade Lowry while he still has some value. You know, because and it's just like, and with that it's like I get it, but it's also like he got you all this stuff. Like you already did some super cutthroat stuff when you traded
DeMar DeRozan.
when you traded DeRozan. Um, and it's like it got you a ring, kind of close a couple times, but it got you a ring. Um, I mean, you also fired the coach of the year, but but that's none of my business. Um, but it's just like it's just one of like you have. I feel like to contemplate it with like someone like Lowry in particular, like a Lowry, or like granted, LeBron was never fortunate enough to be in this type of situation, but like a LeBron, um, like it takes a certain kind of cold, like you need a certain amount of cold, like heartlessness with your stuff, and I don't know, maybe let's just kind of like like someone who comes in with more of a business background or like pure numbers background or something to be a bit more cutthroat about stuff than you necessarily need to. Um, but like if you have that coldness there, regardless, really regardless of the age of the person or the generation, like it's going to lead to conversations like that because you're gonna get somebody who's just like who looks at everything in like a zero sum kind of way. I think that's a good way of putting it. Like all or not, like you either win or you lose. There's no like middle ground, and they're just like, well, since we're not winning, we're clearly losing. Time to blow it up and start the process. Because like that's kind of what you do when you're like we should start the rebuild in order. It's like time to start the process. Like time to suck for the next 3 years. Once again, Calvin McGowan. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Um, if you are watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, leave something in the comments. Um, you can also listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. If you made it this far, once again, thank you. I hope you got a lot done of whatever it was you were working on while listening to this. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.